Everyone in Pittsburgh knows that we made steel for decades, and that legacy is still a living part of who we are now. But there aren't a lot of examples left of how all that history was forged. With the Carey blast furnaces, you can literally stand in the shadow of what was once cutting-edge technology. Rivers of Steel offers tours of this important national historic landmark, and they explain how we made iron, introduce you to the people, the workers who made it possible, and share more about the culture that sprang up to support them. Plus, they've got a special spotlight right now on how the Great Migration shaped its workforce. Learn more and book a tour at riversofsteel.com/tours. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, did you know the best batter in baseball history played for Pittsburgh? Not the Pirates, but our Negro League teams that flourished here before integration. Josh Gibson played for the Homestead Grays and the Pittsburgh Crawfords back in the 30s and 40s, and he had an incredible batting average, .372. If you don't know baseball statistics, that is exceptionally good. But it's only now, many, many decades later, that Major League Baseball has finally added his statistics to their record books. We're with his great-grandson to talk about what all this means. It's Wednesday, June 12th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. Well, I am with Sean Gibson, the great-grandson of the late, great Josh Gibson, who's now officially been recognized as the best batter in Major League Baseball history. Sean, welcome back to CityCast.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. How are you feeling? You've finally gotten this recognition that you have been advocating on behalf for so long.
It's great. It's a great honor for the Gibson family, but it's also a great honor for all the other family members as well. It's been a long time coming. Back in 2020, when Major League Baseball made the announcement to include Negro League statistics into their record books, it took over 3.5 years to finally get it done. And, May 29th, 2024 will be a day that myself, as well as other family members of Negro League players, will never forget. And as you mentioned, Josh, when we saw the ranks that Josh is now recorded at, it's pretty awesome.
It really is.
Yeah, out of the 8 stats the MLB posted, they listed 6 of them, Josh was number 1. So we're very excited about that.
It's just incredible. All-time leader for batting average, for slugging percentage, on-base slugging percentage. I mean, just those 3 alone feels like such an incredible trifecta for power, for productivity at bat. What's the reception been like for you and for other family members, especially as people have just become more aware of this in the last few weeks?
Crazy. If you want to ask me, it's been crazy. But a good way. It's been exciting. It's been up and down. It's been, great talking with the other family members, see how they feel about it.
How did you celebrate?
We haven't yet.
You haven't?
No. Well, we haven't yet because the mayor's office reached out to us and they want to do something together. So We're trying to figure out a date that works best for us, the foundation, and the city, which I'm glad the city would like to recognize this as well. So I think it's a great accomplishment for the city of Pittsburgh, being that we had 2 great teams from the city with the Grays and the Crawfords.
Yeah, Homestead Grays and Pittsburgh Crawfords. Is baseball still what you would say is an important part of your family, not just advocating on behalf of your ancestor, but, here in the modern era too?
Oh, for sure. My grandson plays baseball now, so he's 11 years old. And
oh my gosh.
He hit his first home run this year, ironically, when the stats come out with Josh. So,
oh my gosh.
Yep. So he's on a travel baseball team. We was in Ohio this past weekend. We almost did okay. We didn't make it to the championship, but we did pretty good. But yeah, it's going through the generation now with my grandson. His name is Sean. He's named after myself. So we're excited for him to continue on the legacy, and hopefully we'll see what happens in his baseball career.
That gives me goosebumps. We also talked to you in the past about, your push for Major League Baseball to rename their Most Valuable Player award to honor Josh. Any word on that yet?
Nope. We're still pushing, Megan. We hope that now that the stats are officially out, this will help with our push. Now it shows that, Josh was not just a great home run hitter, but he was a great all-around baseball player. You read off the stats with his OPS, slugging percentage, career batting average. It shows that he was a great offensive-minded player and did it very well. And so we're hoping that when the BBWA have a chance to meet again, actually they meet in every winter in December at the winter meetings.
That's like the body of governors sort of for MLB, yeah?
Yep. So people think that this is an MLB decision. It's through the Baseball Writers Association who makes that decision.
Okay.
So they'll make the decision hopefully soon. But like I said, for us, we'll be definitely advocating for Josh. And now we have the stats to help with our push.
I mean, when you look at those stats, have you had to educate people over the last few weeks? I feel like, most people have heard about batting averages, but some of the others are a lot more nuanced than, we often talk about in normal conversation.
Yeah, I mean, most people I've talked to understand the stats, but I'll say, like I said, I just talked about my grandson. He knows about batting averages and things like that. He doesn't really know about slugging percentage. I had to explain the slugging percentage and the on-base percentage to him. How
did you explain it to an 11-year-old? Because I feel like that would help a lot of people listening to this.
It's simple. It's just simple math. Like you said, based on the times you get on base, you calculate that, and I can't remember exactly how I told him, but I can tell you one thing. He was still confused. So,
I mean, I feel like that's not uncommon for any kind of baseball stat. They love their math.
Right. So I just left it at Josh Gibson passed Babe Ruth. So just leave it at that.
Right.
But no, it's just been a great 2 weeks. And, I'm still doing interviews today. We're going to be going to Rickwood, which is a big event coming up with Major League Baseball and Fox Studios. And we'll be talking about it more when I get to Rickwood as well to celebrate the Negro Leagues in Rickwood.
I'm curious, is there anything else that you think that the MLB should be doing to properly recognize not just Josh Gibson and some of the other folks that have made it into the upper echelon of the statistics, but the Negro Leagues as a whole?
Yes. One of my other initiatives besides the MVP award is to have a National Negro League Day. May 2nd, 1920 was the first Negro League game. And so now what I'm proposing is that Major League Baseball, whatever teams are playing that day, celebrate the Negro Leagues by wearing Negro League uniforms that day. Wow. And it'd be recognizing the Negro Leagues, National Negro League Day. And again, that's not taking anything away from Jackie Robinson Day. Jackie Robinson Day recognizes just one individual. A National Negro League Day on May 2nd will recognize all the Negro League baseball players that played in the Negro Leagues.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing that struck me too about, I feel like so many of us have heard of Jackie Robinson because he was the first one to integrate Major League Baseball, but Josh Gibson could have potentially been in that position too. He just died before it could happen.
Yeah, right before it happened. He died January of 47. So as we know, that year was 47. That spring of 47 was Jackie Robinson crossed over. And so Josh never had a chance to see even Jackie Robinson make it to the Major League. So, but you're right. There's a lot of great players in the Negro Leagues, but I think Branch Rickey made the right decision of selecting Jackie Robinson based off his education, his military background, and his great athleticism as well.
Did you know there's a speakeasy on Liberty Avenue? Well, we're letting the cat out of the bag, or I guess I should say the rabbit out of the hat, because Liberty Magic is Pittsburgh's premier speakeasy theater, dedicated to the art of elevating magic. And if you've never been, there is a really fun show right now that would be a perfect entry point to what they do best. Magician and comedian Rob Zabrecky has brought his variety show, The Zabrecky Hour, to Pittsburgh, and it is just so wonderfully weird. There's deadpan comedy, song and dance, and his absurd take on mental phenomena, which may involve getting a few of his audience members involved. It is strange in a way you will never forget. The Zabrecky Hour is happening now at Liberty Magic through July 14th, and they even offer a Skeleton Key VIP experience for the best seats and an up-close encounter. You've got to check it out. That's the Zabrecky Hour at Liberty Magic through July 14th. Get your tickets at trustarts.org/magic before they disappear.
Sign up to The Economist for in-depth curated expert analysis of world events and topics ranging from business and culture to science and technology. You'll get the weekly digital edition, online-only articles, curated newsletters on politics, the markets, science, culture, and China, and full access to The Economist Podcast Plus. The Economist is independent journalism for independent thinking. Go to economist.com and get your first month free.
You know, Sean, are there other players that you'd like to see get more recognition, more attention in the wake of all of this?
I hate to say this, not too many players left.
Yeah.
You figure the Negro League was founded in 1920. We're over 104 years old. So there's a few players left. I'll see a couple of those guys. Actually, I just talked to one today, Pedro Sierra.
Oh, my gosh.
The New York Cubans, and he's going to be in Birmingham. And a guy named Sam Allen. But if you look at the press release and the stats, there's only 3 players living from that era during the stats. That's 1920 to 1948. There's only 3 living in that era. And that's Willie Mays. And that's a guy named Bill Greason, who's 99. Willie Mays is 93. And a guy named Ron Teasley is 97. So it's not too many players left.
Yeah. What about the legacy of those that have left us before they could live to see, you know, such a momentous occasion?
Oh, it's definitely a lot of legacy. A lot of family members. I started an organization called the Negro League Family Alliance, which is an organization that a lot of family members of Negro League baseball players have come together to be one voice. We have a great partnership with Major League Baseball. We're excited about that. We're hosting a meet and greet in Birmingham in a couple of weeks. But yes, the legacy continues. I guess these guys are gone, but through my foundation, the Josh Gibson Foundation, our legacy continues with presenting Josh Gibson and a lot of local players here in Pittsburgh that people never heard of. And that's one thing I definitely want to mention too as well is that, you know, the stats is a great opportunity for people to learn about the lesser known Negro League baseball players.
Yeah.
Because most of you know about the Josh Gibsons, the Satchel Pages, the Cool Papa Bells, and the Buck Leonards and the Hall of Famers. But some of the lesser known players, a lot of people don't know about. So that's what the stats will really help educate people on some of the people you've never heard of before.
I mean, when you kind of look ahead, what would you like to see MLB do in the wake of this? You know, the announcement came out and that's amazing. But in terms of next steps about recognizing some of these legacies and, you know, not just changing the stats, but making it a more visible part of baseball and baseball history.
Well, great question. The one thing I would like to do is educate the community more about the Negro Leagues, right? I
meet so many people who don't realize that we have this kind of legacy, even here in Pittsburgh, where It was really a big part of our baseball history.
Yep. And you're right. You know, Pittsburgh was considered a black mecca of baseball back then, you know. But getting back to the MLB question, one is to have the history part, right, where, you know, as I mentioned, have this National Negro League Day. And I know that's going to take time. But before that...
You're a pretty patient man, I've learned over the years.
Hey, it's patience pays off. But when you have these days of Negro National Days, Negro League Days, is educate them on the history. You know what I mean? Whether it's in Pittsburgh, the Grays and the Crawfords, whether it's in Detroit, the Detroit Stars, whether it's in Philly, the Philadelphia Stars, Chicago American Giants. So that's the thing that I really want people to know. And also, too, is that you'll probably see a lot more Negro League jerseys being worn at MLB games now. And that's the other great part about it, you know, for us to be able to capitalize on this on merchandising deals.
That was going to be my question. Are the families of these players able to reap some of those rewards they weren't able to, you know, so many decades ago?
Yeah, I hope so. We've been blessed that we have an agent, and some of the other more high-profile players have agents who will go out and get deals for them. You know, we're about to make a big announcement on a deal pretty soon that's coming up.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, that will help. You know what I mean? That will definitely help them financially as well, too.
I feel like that's such an important piece of all of this. I am glad that y'all were ready. Do you think that you personally have been able to process it, take a minute just for yourself, exhale, and I don't know, just take in what these last couple of weeks have meant?
You know what's so funny? I did an interview when all this was coming out, and somebody asked me, have you had a chance to look at the MLB records and see Josh Gibson's name? I just did that this weekend. I have not done that. I have not done it all this time. And to see his name at top of the leaderboard on some of these stats actually in the record books is phenomenal. But before then, I haven't had a chance to really even do it because I've just been so busy with interviews and other things going on in life. I finally did that this weekend.
Well, we appreciate you making space for folks like us and so many others. For folks who are maybe new to all of this, for folks listening, how would you recommend they plug in with your work, with the Josh Gibson Foundation, or about, just the Negro League history overall?
Yeah, well, for us, you always go to the Josh Gibson Foundation website to learn more about the things that we're doing in the name of Josh Gibson. As I mentioned earlier, I'm co-founder of an organization called the Negro League Family Alliance. You can go to our website. It's just negroleaguefamilyalliance.com to learn more about who's all involved, our mission, our initiatives, and the family members that are involved right now. But again, yeah, as we talked about the MVP award, JG20 MVP signed a petition to help Josh Gibson name be on the MVP award. And I'll say this one thing for the audience is that, the push to have Josh Gibson's name is not just about Josh Gibson. If Josh Gibson was to have his name on the MVP award, it would represent all the players who were denied an opportunity to play Major League Baseball. And so, but right now, man, this has been a good ride. And, I'm always happy to talk to you guys. And, Pittsburgh is a home base. And, the Crawfords and Grays are right here. This is our hometown. So anytime I have a chance to talk to our hometown news or media, I'm going to make sure I take advantage of it.
Sean Gibson, congratulations. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you want to celebrate Josh Gibson's legacy here in Pittsburgh, Sean's Foundation is hosting their annual Josh Gibson Gala on October 19th at the Wyndham Grand Hotel. They're going to be honoring a big-name former Yankee. Sean says he cannot tell you who it is yet, but you can find more information at joshgibson.org or tap into some of their scholarship and mentorship programs and the work that they're doing through Pittsburgh Public Schools. Don't forget to subscribe to our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. We will be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Talk to you soon.
I still just cannot get over your grandson getting his first home run at the same time all of this was happening.
It wasn't at the same. It was like a week before, but it all happened around.
No, but like emotionally, that's always going to be like tied into the same moment,
Yeah.